Welcome to an incomplete guide to personal growth. We invite you to take a breath and take a listen to our podcast that explores the wonder, humor, challenges, and sometimes those self-inflicted wounds on a journey of personal growth.
Our weekly podcast conversations include stories, resources, and tools that you can incorporate into your daily life. We're the mother-daughter duo of Sydney
and Kelly.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Sydney. We have a wonderful guest with us today, Jill Howell, which we'll get to introduce and get to hear from.
Yes.
But today,
getting into our interview today.
You've relegated me to a different room in the house. I don't know what I did to offend you, but here I am.
I know. We're trying out a new system for our interviews. I want to see how this kind of website setup works and if it's better or worse, whatever. So yeah, a little bit of a test. And then also, I'm relegating you. We'll see how our chemistry works.
I know, in a different room. It's harder to give you a hard time, I think. Maybe that's why. But
I know. We'll see how our banter or anything. Oh my gosh. Yes. Or working together works. But yeah, it is different. It's okay. Yeah. I'm switching it up on you.
I can still interrupt you.
Cool.
I'm okay.
Yes, you will still interrupt me. It's okay. Awesome. So, Mom, do you want to talk a little bit about Jill?
Yes. I tell you what, you mentioned doing something on the nervous system. And so I put a little blurb out into the universe and saw Jill popped up on it.
Yes.
And had a wonderful conversation with her. We've got a lot of similarities and whatnot, and she works with the nervous system and does sound baths and all kind of good stuff. And she's up in cold Indianapolis. So, and we're here in warm San Antonio. So,
see how the nervous now, don't you?
Oh yeah,
yes. We are nice and warm.
You are nice and warm. I'm cold.
Yeah.
Hi. Bye.
Yeah, we have thin blood after you live here. Sometimes it'll be in the 60s and we're like, oh gosh, it's chilly today.
Need a jacket.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so anyway.
Do you want to get into, can you describe kind of like your background, how you got into nervous system stuff, like all that for our listeners?
Yeah, let's just jump in. So, my name is Jill Howell. I own a coaching business for women called Dancing in the Mess. So I view myself as an embodied self-leadership coach, but I'm really a somatic healing guide. I'm a nervous system educator, and I take women through embodied experiences to help inform their nervous system of safety, security, and stability. So we're not coming at nervous system work from just a cognitive process. We are truly embodying nervous system rewiring. We are rewiring the nervous system through our body first. And all of this for me, why am I so passionate about women and helping guide their nervous systems through fight, flight, freeze, and fawn is because of my own healing journey. Like really, truly, this whole thing started for me about 6 years ago when my own nervous system collapsed. And when I say that, what I mean is that I was stuck in a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, brain fog. I was not functioning at my fullest capacity. I was crying when nobody was home. I was on the couch or in bed, not functioning. I would just basically was surviving, doing everything that I could. And most of that came because I was in a traumatic experience at the time. And my body had lived through so many traumatic experiences from childhood through adulthood that finally, the way that I view it is that my body was screaming. It was like, do you see me? Do you hear me? And underneath it was a younger child part of me that felt deeply safe in the world. and she had felt
Mm.
all of life. And it just,
Yeah.
as I got older, I'm 45, almost 46 now.
Mhm.
But as I've gotten older, in that stacked traumatic experiences and that lived energy of every moment that felt like either too much or where I didn't
Mm.
or need met in the midst of feeling a big emotion was held in
Mhm.
the body on not only
Wow.
just an energetic level, but on a cellular level. So
Wow.
what I began to realize after at that point in 2020, it was kind of my crossroads moment. It was what I like to call my fork in the sand moment, which people think is funny that I say
Mm.
in the sand, but I don't know why this feels right because it felt like every
Yeah.
part of me had to be the definition of insanity,
Yeah.
doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I've done
Yes.
cognitive talk therapy at that point for 20 years off and on. And I was like, I feel miserable. I want to die, not only for the first time, but it was the second time in my life that I felt so dark on
Mm.
the inside that I wanted to die. I wanted to be done. Humaning
Yeah.
felt too hard. I
Mm.
I didn't like it. I felt stuck.
Mhm.
I wasn't being
Yeah.
given the tools to process and integrate the emotions that I was experiencing. I didn't know how to respond to it. And I felt like I sucked. Frankly,
Mhm.
I was broken. I felt like something was ultimately wrong with me because no amount of prayer, reading the Bible, going to talk therapy, no amount of all of these good things were helping me.
Mhm.
Then I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
Why is this not easier? Why is this not happening for me? And I'm just tired. I'm tired of it all.
Mhm.
But
Wow.
but it opened me up to seek
Mm.
a different way. And I walked through the door of somatic healing and
Mhm.
started learning from I started hiring coaches instead of therapists. And I started
Mhm.
taking more of a post traumatic growth approach to
Yeah.
healing the victim mindset that I had on the inside, to retraining my brain, but also rewiring my nervous system and helping my body to feel safer in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Wow.
I know,
So
right? That's big. That's a lot to drop.
yeah.
Let's admit call that out for what it is. I feel like one of my superpowers is just vulnerability and authenticity because I feel like it's
Yeah.
needed for so many humans that are walking around feeling so much shame for a
Mhm.
human
Yeah.
nervous system that is actually doing exactly what it was created to do, which was to protect us.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Absolutely.
I
Oh.
think that vulnerability part and being able to talk about it, once you
Mhm.
do open up a little bit, I have found that suddenly there's others that go, "Oh, yeah, I go through that too."
Mhm.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
therefore the healing can begin,
Yeah.
but it is. People are afraid to say because they do feel, "Well, it's just me.
Mhm.
Something's wrong with
Yeah.
me." Yeah,
Yeah.
versus
Oh,
just your body's doing
that's
its
so
work.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's really a journey of healing,
Mhm.
the relationship with ourselves
Yeah.
and with every
Yeah.
part of us that feels an emotion. So I'm trained in internal family systems from a somatic approach.
Yeah.
So I view this all through the lens of every emotion that comes up is simply a part of us that's in need. And so
Mhm.
as we begin to like meet those needs of ours, those core needs,
Yeah.
I don't have to feel ashamed because I don't have to feel ashamed for having these human emotions because you have them. You might not be talking about them,
Mhm.
but you have them too.
Yeah.
And I have them, and we all have them. And can we just stop tiptoeing around it? Can we just stop wearing the freaking mask already?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah, I
yeah,
love
and we touched a bit one of our episodes a while ago with, a therapist, Anna, she talked a little bit about internal family systems,
yeah.
so I love that
Mhm.
approach to
Mhm.
just, like, all your emotions kinda just have this seat at a table, and you
Yes.
need to, fill all their needs in some sort of way. Yeah.
Yes. So I use a
Yeah.
lot of different modalities
Mhm.
intertwined, but at the core root of it all, I'm helping the body to have
Mhm.
new felt sense of safety. Instead of
Mm.
the felt sense of danger and threat that is the old
Yeah.
programming and the conditioning, we're creating a new felt sense through the body, through guided experiences that then allow it to feel safer for you to take those post-traumatic growth steps, to have that growth
Yeah.
mindset, to take embodied action that is different than what your brain
Mm.
views as familiar, that might not be serving
Mhm.
you anymore. Like that automatic programming that's just kind of happening in the background 95% of our day is based on the
Mhm.
experiences of the past, right? And so it's like recognizing and honoring the patterns that have been created out of those
Mhm.
moments of self-protection, and then beginning to invite those parts to feel safer and more supported
Mm.
as you take new steps of action forward.
Yeah. Oh, that's so I love the way you put it. That it makes it, like, so clear on how you're, like, trying to connect the past with, being
Yeah,
not better, but just, like, having these changes and being a little different in the future and feeling safe.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
So
getting rid of the emotions.
No,
no,
we're
It's
actually holding
yeah,
hands
acknowl
with it.
yeah.
We're
yeah,
bringing it in, we're holding
Mhm.
that part of us. We're offering
Yeah.
compassionate care instead of criticism and shame and guilt and all of these other messier
mhm,
vibrational frequencies that we offer towards those parts of us that we don't like. We're
yeah,
building and cultivating a new relationship with that part of us. And we're saying, hey, like, you're safe here now. I'm sorry you haven't felt safe for so long, but I'm
mhm,
going to create the safety for you now. I'm going to give you everything that you didn't get in the past,
mhm,
and I'm going to help you to feel safe to move forward. And so the difference, in coaching is that that's the core heart mission, is that we are actually
yeah,
moving forward and taking new embodied action, and I'm helping you to have accountability to step into the discomfort that your nervous
mm,
when your nervous system alarm is going off, because I view the body as a smoke detector. So our bodies
mm,
are brilliant smoke detectors that go off when we feel a sense of threat or danger.
Mhm.
Sometimes when we've been through a lot of experiences that have been very threatening to us over time,
mm,
that threat alarm, that smoke detector will go off even when we're actually not in threat. It's almost hyper activated and on
yeah,
guard, and so
yeah,
then we find ourselves in this stuck state like I did because my nervous system was like, "Ah, nothing's safe in the
all the
world.
time.
You're not
Yeah.
safe. I'm not safe.
Mhm,
Nothing's safe."
yeah, yeah, all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, and so then when we live from that,
Mm.
as you could see, my whole body was, like, tensing up.
Yeah,
That's, like, the visceral somatic response of the body. Somatic just comes from the Greek word
yes,
soma, which means body, for anybody listening that's never heard that language
Good.
before.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
And so it's like recognizing what the body is holding, recognizing how the body is responding to this threat,
mhm,
and realizing,
man,
holy crap, we have lived for decades creating all these protective barriers and protective behaviors
mhm,
safe.
yeah,
And
yeah,
what if we
Mhm.
could allow those parts to feel a little safer so they didn't have to work so hard to like,
mhm,
to anticipate more threat because we are actually the new guide. That's why I like to say it's embodied self-leadership. This is a new level of self-leadership combined with emotional intelligence, combined with nervous
mhm,
system understanding, combined with
mhm,
reconciliation of those inner child parts that actually needed something that didn't a core need that didn't get met.
yeah,
And
There's
then
so
it
many
oh,
yeah, there's so many levels to that.
there is.
There is,
yeah,
and we talk a lot about self-awareness, and,
mhm,
it's just getting to know you in a different way,
Mhm.
and being aware, "Oh, that alarm's going off. Is it true? Is it really true? Is it" and
mhm.
I'm big on clearing the body often.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
You're very big on
just the energy clearing
Yes,
of
I do a lot of energy
yes,
clearing too. Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
yes. Oh
Because
my
our
gosh.
bodies are holding and absorbing other people's emotions and energies all the time.
yes,
Some of what
Mhm.
we're carrying isn't even ours to carry.
exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
I know you're rolling
How
your
many
eyes.
times have I heard that from you,
Yes,
mom? All the time.
a lot. Yeah, I've gotta keep my space
I
clear
love
so I
it.
can come and go,
Oh my gosh.
So,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, I love that.
so Jill, with your background, so you went and you stayed with a lot of coaches, and so is a lot of what you teach and share now, like, from them and then stuff you've learned on your own? Like, have you done your own, like, training? Like, what kind of
Yeah.
like, what did you tend to dive into and, like, really get to
Yeah,
know?
so I'll say what I first started off with was understanding brain retraining. The coach I saw,
Yeah.
amazing, and she was very gifted at using NLP and brain retraining.
Mhm.
Like she opened the door to the somatic approach of EFT tapping. So I started learning that.
Oh,
And then I got certified in EFT tapping too. And then I got
oh,
certified
cool.
in NLP. And then I realized I'm making progress forward, but my
Mhm.
system is still very sensitive and I need more than this. And
Mm.
she was not somatically aligned, like, she's
Mhm.
teaching me a lot more somatic except for the EFT tapping, so I'm
Yeah.
grateful, I'm so grateful
So, wait a
she
minute, before we go on, our listeners may not EFT tapping and
Mhm.
NLP. Is
Yes.
that what you said?
So EFT tapping, yep, good call.
Sorry.
EFT tapping, yeah, emotional freedom technique is about tapping on meridian points to
Okay.
allow the energy
Oh.
to move as you are also, um, processing cognitively what is happening.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
so, really, in the truest form, EFT tapping is all about acknowledging and honoring the true, authentic emotions of what you're experiencing, noticing and
Mhm.
observing what's happening in your body, noticing and claiming and naming it out loud, the emotions that are present, the impact, how you're feeling
Mhm.
about it all,
Mhm.
um, and then moving towards that more empowered state.
Okay.
And so,
Okay.
I believe I like to, and so here's where, because I'm an elementary and special ed trained teacher, like
Cool.
I always am intertwining my own experiences of things and expanding
Mhm.
and making it different. So
Yeah.
true EFT tapping has like a quote unquote negative or really messy round first.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
move to the more positive, empowered round. I
Okay.
teach it in a way that I teach my clients to create a bridge round, which is the round of
Mm.
curiosity and the round of compassion and leaning into asking questions and to possibility to open us up into the
Interesting.
positive, because sometimes it's really hard for people to just go from these really messy, heavier states of vibration,
Mhm.
frequency, and
Mm.
emotion to then switching over to the positive.
Yeah.
It's like, ah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah, it's too much. Yeah.
yeah, it's too much. A part of you,
Mhm.
a protector part of you will always resist
Mm.
it. So I like to come in and
Mhm.
create the bridge round, which
Okay.
is like, let's just be curious. Let's ask questions. What if?
Yeah.
Maybe this could be
Yeah.
possible. What would it be like if it did?
Mhm.
How could it feel to maybe open up to this other idea too, so that we're not just stuck in the black and white over here. It's like almost
Yeah.
opening up the door to more color. It's kind of the way that I like
Oh,
to see it.
Oh, cool. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Because
That
Yeah.
sounds gentler for sure.
yeah, because
Yeah.
keeps us in the black and white,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
we see is this little narrow lens of our perspective
Mhm.
at that moment.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
let's open the door, let's see that there's actually not only
Yeah.
is there more than just black and white, there's like a bajillion different shades of gray, a bajillion
Yeah.
different shades of other colors too here. Let's help the brain to see the possibility of these other
Brilliant.
options and
Mm.
opportunities to see
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
That's neat.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah, yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Okay.
so that's what
So
EFT
Oh,
tapping is.
okay.
good.
NLP is neuro linguistic programming, and
Okay.
this is about behaviors and
Mhm.
sensory experiences of the body based on what's happening in the brain and your way of
Okay.
processing
Okay.
information.
Okay.
Mm.
Very good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So you
From
went you so you
taking,
did those 2.
yeah, so I started with those two.
Okay.
And then I
Excellent.
was like, okay, this is all great and very helpful. Like I was not stuck
Mhm.
anymore,
Mhm.
but I still
Yeah.
felt energetically like a part of me still was grieving so much,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
so much pain that I was like, okay, I know I need to lean into understanding the nervous system more. So that's when I started seeking out people who were helping me to understand what the nervous system was and what was happening on the inside. And then I started
Mm,
learning about somatic parts work in IFS
yeah.
therapy. So just, but from a somatic approach, meaning we're coming to the body. We're not doing it from a cognitive approach. We're connecting with the
Mhm.
sensations of the body, and we're learning how long they've been held in the body, and we're simply starting to connect with that part of us that's been holding it. And
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, and then creating an embodied resolution for that part of us that's
Okay.
holding all of the
Mm,
fear alarm. Yeah.
Yeah.
man.
And so then I just started like adding that in. And then so I started like then I started realizing I really feel led to create experiences for the body to feel all these things. I started knowing all these truths and feeling and touching on all these different little things. So I started getting trainings in meditation, trainings in like visualization, and which that was actually part of what I did with my first coach. So visualization was a
Yeah.
big piece of the brain retraining. But then I
Gotcha.
started exploring somatic yoga and feminine embodiment of like movement and feeling free. And
Wow.
then somatic art release, and how do we allow the body to come back into a flow state? So I use so many different modalities to help soften the
Mm,
body alarm and come back into our true nature, which is a flow state.
Mhm.
yeah.
Um,
Wow.
so I do, and she said it earlier, I do integrate like sound healing into that, like
Mhm.
Mhm.
crystal sound bowls in my experiences, but I use dance and I use movement and I use ribbon ones for the inner child play, and I interweave playfulness and lightheartedness into all of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow. It's
yeah,
cool.
it's like a
Okay.
full body experience.
Yes.
Okay, so
Oh,
I can
man.
just imagine
Yeah.
women coming into this going, "This is weird." Right?
Yes.
I mean, the
And they
first
do.
time that to
Yes.
be able to become quit laughing at me, Cindy, but, to be able to
No,
be
they do.
comfortable with that,
Yeah, the
because
very
I've been
first
going,
time.
Oh,
"I
so
don't do that," but
So I tell them, "Embrace the awkward,
yes,
embrace the weird.
yeah.
outside of your comfort
Yeah.
zone.
Let's let it be weird for a moment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's embrace the
Yeah.
discomfort of it."
Yes,
Your
yeah,
brain just doesn't feel familiar. Like your nervous system alarm is going off just because it's unfamiliar. It doesn't mean
exactly.
that's
Yeah.
bad, but it's just unfamiliar, and your brain will seek familiarity at all costs.
Oh,
So
yes.
Mhm.
we have to create the safety. And so I do it very specifically. All of my experiences, all of my online
Yeah.
classes and my in-person experiences, classes and
Mhm.
retreats,
Yeah.
we're all starting with cultivating safety in the body before we do anything
Yeah.
weird.
Right,
Oh,
right.
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Before we open the
That is
door to the fun playfulness, to the art,
yes.
movement,
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm softening the body and I'm helping create safety for the body. I'm sending signals through the vagus nerve to the
yeah,
rest
Mhm.
of the body to say, "Okay, we can take a breath here."
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's so good. And I think, I mean, the nerves is the nervous system, it runs through our entire body, and I think it's I think it's more powerful than a lot of people realize, and so many things are so subconscious, like these these protective patterns, I think are hardly, like, consciously developed,
No,
over time. Like,
yeah,
they're not things that I'm like, "Oh, well, let me, shut this down," which probably will hurt the majority of my relationships, but I'm gonna shut it down and close myself off. I don't think anybody consciously chooses to do those sorts of things. So it's like retraining that, I feel like, is such it's harder. I think it's just harder work, and you feel uncomfortable doing it. So it's
you
not
do.
something everybody wants to approach?
Yeah,
you
they
have to be, and I think it's interesting, Jill, because you mentioned I put a note down that because as you're talking, you started at one place, you
mhm,
were seeking help, you knew you needed that, you've been to therapy, I wanna try the coaching, I need this, and then you knew, "Okay, I've done that work, now I need my body." There's still something more.
mhm.
Your
Mhm.
body, and I think I love that because I think we get stuck and, "Well, I'm just this is the way." Well, it's okay to move on, to go, "I got
Yeah.
what a gift I got here, now I need to go
Yeah.
another course."
Yeah, do something else.
Yeah, there's
Right?
lots of
Mhm.
pieces of the puzzle that have been a part of my own healing and reconciliation journey within my
Mhm.
um and and really healing the relationship I have with me. I've needed lots
Mhm.
of guides along the way
Mhm.
to help me to rewire and to reprogram. And Sydney, to respond to what you said, um,
Yep.
95% of our days are we are functioning on autopilot. That is our subconscious programming.
Wow.
So based on
Crazy.
whatever has happened in the past that has created
Mhm.
like our brains are developed to be meaning makers. They're always
Mhm.
trying to
And seek patterns and yeah.
but our brains will make meaning of things that have happened either to us or around us and
Mhm.
create these patterns, these survival coping patterns, because the
Mhm.
messages that our brains are getting from this experience, the perspective that we take.
Mhm.
So here, let's just pause and recognize too that our brains are not fully developed until we're 25 years old. So everything that happens before our brains are completely developed, we
Mhm.
don't have the complex reasoning skills. So we're limited. Our behaviors
Mm.
that are created in those moments where things are out of our control are very limited.
Yeah.
They're limited
Mm.
scope of what can help us to survive. Our brain is seeking to help us to survive whatever feels out of control, but we still need to get our core needs met. So we still long to feel loved and be accepted and be belong in a space
Mhm.
inside of our homes and to get our food and our shelter and
Yeah.
to not be like to not have more negative consequences in an environment that's already out of our control as children.
Right.
All people,
That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
people. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
how great your parents were. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter how great of a parent I am. I am definitely
Yeah.
not perfect, and I know that I have created
Th
woundedness for my own kids because
Yeah.
there's things they haven't felt self safe to say out loud, and
Mm.
so I haven't even had opportunities at times to speak into some of those
Right.
wounds, and their brains are making meaning of all of these things, and they're filling in the gaps, and they may not be filling it in with 100% accuracy.
Probably not, Sydney.
No,
No, I'm just
right? But I didn't, my brain didn't, your brains
No,
didn't.
yeah.
Every
Yeah.
situation. And so as our nervous system responses, our survival coping
Mhm.
strategies are created, they're created from a place where our brains are actually not fully developed yet. And so
Yeah.
as we get older and we cross that threshold of becoming an adult, we're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
wait. These patterns, these survival coping strategies actually aren't helping me anymore. Actually,
Mm.
they're not even just not helping me, they're harming me. They're causing more suffering
Yeah.
for me
Mhm.
because I'm living from this braced approach of like, are you for me? Are you against me?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ye
Yeah. And so and 2, can even past that 25
Yeah.
age, I mean, can we still be learning new defensive like,
Oh,
because
oh, sure, because take a really traumatic experience as an adult, right? I mean,
yeah.
we just
Yeah, yeah.
continue to create new coping strategies,
Yes.
and they're all still infiltrated and deeply connected and rooted in our very basic
Mm.
instincts as we're growing,
Yeah.
developing, because
Yeah.
that programming has already been created and started. So it's
Mhm.
adding on to that programming and deepening it
Yeah.
and maybe even making those protective strategies even bigger, which was what it was happening for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because
I think
because
Go
I'm
ahead.
sure stuff happened in my childhood. I mean, I honestly, I will say, and people on this show know, I very much love my mother. Very much. And my dad, like, I feel like I had a good childhood. And I know even if you have one, there are
Yeah.
things that can happen.
There's things, yeah.
But I do feel like a lot of trauma stuff for me was like 20s based, and even after 25 too.
Yes.
And like creating, and I've always been a protective person, but then really I agree, like deepening kind of some of my, yeah, default of like how to protect myself, but like making it deeper and not in a good way, you
Yeah.
know?
100%.
One of the
Yeah.
things that you mentioned a couple times is your child, your
Mhm.
inner child,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and I have found that to be one of the most healing when I can talk to that little girl who my mom shamed
Yes.
and go, "But
100%.
that wasn't real. I mean, that
And I
wasn't
keep a picture of mine right here on my desk at
oh,
all
do
times
you?
of that
No.
little girl,
Yeah, and
and I
it's
connect with
to
her.
go back and talk periodically and go, and it's even been healing to do that because then I can talk to that child, and then that child can look at my mom and go, "No,
Okay, I do have something to comment.
uh-oh,
What but what about I will argue, and honestly, some of my friends,
okay."
we had great childhoods. I don't really feel like my child was ever my childhood was ever like caused any injury to me.
This is why I like
So,
the language
how do you like
parts
Well,
where 'cause
what
you can
now?
okay,
part that's wounded. It doesn't have to be a child part. Many people
okay,
have a wounded child part, but not everybody does or that you
yeah,
can connect with. So we're going to the parts that holds the wounding,
mm,
most vulnerable
gotcha,
part of you. But
yeah,
oftentimes, let's just be honest, even if you had an amazing childhood, even if you had a great
Mhm.
childhood, at some point along the way, you learn to wear a mask. You learn to stay
yeah,
quiet in certain settings because it was not acceptable. Even if it was okay in your home, you go to school,
mm,
you go to other places that start these coping strategies of, I have to stay
yeah,
small. I need to stay quiet. There's a time and a place to use my voice. Some people won't be okay with it. What's going to happen? This alarm that goes off in us of trying to do the right thing to feel safe.
yeah,
Yeah,
That's a part of you.
I get that.
yeah,
Okay,
and
And oftentimes leads you almost into situations as an adult
yeah,
that kind of, there's still that wounded part that felt
mm,
vulnerable at some point and had to
yeah,
do something to help move through that moment
yeah,
as a
right.
coping
Oh,
strategy.
yeah,
that I can relate to a little more. Yeah,
and
yeah,
I think you can yeah, because 'cause I'm thinking trust.
Yes, it's
You've
so
always held your emotions close, but then and you
always.
trusted people, and
Yeah,
then you were involved with somebody who couldn't that
yeah,
was not
and then
did
that
not
trust is broken, and it's like
yeah, and
yeah,
did not
for
honor
sure.
that.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, and so that
Yeah.
wound
So the way you described it, that, like, I can
yeah,
relate more to
okay.
that. Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah,
for
because it's
sure.
not all yeah, not everybody has those
Yes.
real strong
Oh,
moments
okay, so a
at
buzz
childhood.
term sorry, I'm
Yeah,
bouncing. A
yeah.
buzz term that everybody likes to talk about, and I haven't heard you use it, which is interesting, is dysregulation. Everybody talks about my nervous system is dysregulated. I feel like that kinda can get overused, social media. But do you does that term have a place in your
Oh,
practice?
yeah,
Like, do you prefer to
yeah,
talk differently? Yeah.
yeah. Because we're looking for the cues of dysregulation in your body, in your nervous system, like,
Mhm.
for sure, for sure. And
Yeah.
the part that actually irks me the most is the
Mhm.
idea of nervous system regulation, not the dysregulation, because there's a
Oh, yeah.
misinterpretation by a lot of people about what nervous system regulation means.
Yeah.
So, dysregulation to me means that there are symptoms and sensations that are coming up in the body that alert us to this knowing that we don't have alignment. Something inside
Mm.
of us is not aligned and something is out of balance here. We're like, yeah, a part of us is not feeling congruent or aligned with something.
Mhm.
And so that fear alarm comes up in the body and it
Yeah.
shows itself in different ways. So understanding, one of the very first things I do with clients is helping them to understand, like, how is your body responding when you feel that fight or flight
Mm.
energy, when you're feeling scared, when you're feeling not safe. That's the nervous
Yeah.
system dysregulation. How is your body presenting that? How are you feeling? And knowing,
Mm.
like, teaching the cues of like what your body biologically is doing in each of these nervous system states, and
Mhm.
then
Mm.
how to move through it. That's where you take your power back. If you have skills and tools to move through those states of distress, then you
Yeah.
feel empowered and more confident and you build self-trust within you. The
Okay.
part that I struggle with is the fact that so many humans are seeking to feel calm and seek peace. And they think that regulation actually means I'm going to feel calm. Everybody in the human state of ever is like, I want to feel calm. I want to go to a Zen place. I want to feel at peace
I
24/7.
mean, yeah.
I mean, right? We all want to be in a blissful state. We all want to have more joy. We want to have more delight. We want to have more
Yeah.
peace. However, the problem is that in longing for that and wanting to
Yeah.
do things to feel that, it can be bypassing what's actually there that needs addressed. So the reason I call my business Dancing in the Mess is because
Mhm.
I teach women how to hold space for the heavier, messy emotions and invite in and hold space for the lighter, peaceful, more joyful frequencies at the same time. We do them in tandem because they are directly correlated with each other. The amount of
Mhm.
joy and peace that you will experience in your life is directly correlated to how much you feel comfortable being present with the authentic, messy, raw, vulnerable parts of yourself.
Yeah, you're smiling, mom, because that's what you say all the time.
No, that's right. You both, right?
You have to do both.
Yes.
So if the heart's goal, if the mission and the objective is, I want to feel nervous system regulation, I want to feel regulated, I want to feel calm. I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
can't, like, what are we bypassing here to get that? And can you actually feel the level of peace and calm and joy and delight and awe and wonder that exists if you're just bypassing? So it's like, it's not bad to want that, but nervous system
Yeah.
regulation is actually not about being calm. It's actually about flexibility. It's about being able to move through all of the nervous system states, the fight, the flight, the freeze, the fawning,
Mhm.
moving through all of the distressful emotions that come up and the sensations that come up without running away, without suppressing,
Oh.
without avoiding.
Well, that was the first half of our interview with Jill. It was so good, and we'll get back into it again next week, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah, we have
Mm.
more. She has a lot more to say, so it'll be I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. So hopefully our listeners have learned a lot about the nervous system, and we'll be linking some of her website info, her Instagram info with this episode, just so you can start to kind of get into her. And next week we'll have some resources from her as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you want to check her out, go ahead and do it. Yeah, her links and website will be in our notes for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we look forward to next week when we take a breath and take a listen.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of An Incomplete Guide to Personal Growth. There are many ways you can stay connected. Follow us on Instagram at An Incomplete Guide Podcast, where you can sign up for our email list and get posts that delve deeper into our weekly topics. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast page wherever you listen to your podcasts. We would really appreciate a rating and sharing us with your family and friends.
We're so glad you chose to spend your time with us and hope there was a thought, a resource, or a laugh that you can take on your journey. We'll be here every Tuesday for you to take a breath and take a listen.